LabVIEW VIs and sub-VIs can be set up to actually retain values that were calculated from previous runs or calls to that VI. I'd like to illustrate this first with the notion of a random number generator that produces a different value on every call to that VI or every execution of that VI. We'll say that this is the output that's being generated by any VI that you happen to be making yourself. Next, I'll set up an array constant of the same type as the data that we're generating, in this case a double. And I will then select, or I will then put on a data selector, and the data selector will pick between two different possibilities, which I'll get to in a minute. I really want this to be a control. Let's try again. I'll call this single point. Now, when single point is true, it will pick the empty array constant. Otherwise, let's see if I can find that. There we go. Otherwise, it's going to pick the array that was generated on the previous pass. And if it sounds confusing, it really is not too bad. So the magic is right here. If I feed this back around into the mux, or multiplexer, or data selector, you see that it automatically generates the thing with left pointing arrow. That's called a feedback node. Now I have a little bit of problem with data type incompatibility. See if we can get some insight there. Not a whole lot of insight. As it turns out, we have a one-dimensional array being turned into a two-dimensional array, and those are not compatible coming back in. A critical setting then on the build array node right there, concatenate inputs. Now, when I feed this back around, the data selector is choosing between either an empty array or the array that was saved from the last call. Therefore, the output of each run, which is our random number generator output, is then appended to that ongoing array. Now we can see this operating pretty easily here. Each time we run the VI, we see that the appended array grows, so that tells us that it does in fact know about the previous state. If I set this to a single point, then we only produce that single value, and that's a way of initializing the array.